Wrestling Show. I'm Jim Davies, substituting for Ed Whalen. Ed's in the hospital on a very routine matter. We'll have him back with us in a very short time. Bulldog Bob Brown, meanwhile, has been suspended. We got a great card for you tonight, and let me introduce my very special guest at ringside, Pete Montana, AM 106 Morning Man. Good to have you with us, and I understand you're a big wrestling fan, Pete.
Thanks a lot, Jim. Really excited to be here, and I'll tell you, I am. I'm a big fan, and one of the things I'm really looking forward to is to see all these athletes that we're going to have tonight, and that 15-man bunkhouse brawl. I'll tell you, it's going to be exciting, and I can hardly wait.
It's going to be a great one. Where'd you get that hat?
I'll tell you, this hat I got from Dr. B.G. Jonathan Holliday himself, a little good luck charm. I kind of like the guy. He's a little backwards, but he's not so bad, and I look forward to seeing him wrestle tonight, too.
He's a very strange individual, and we got a great wrestling card. Davey Boy Smith back from injury, Bruce Hart back, and let's get going with some wrestling action right now. And away we go with our opening bout on tonight's card. It is Kim Shaw, the up-and-coming 240-pounder out of Hamilton, Ontario, and he's in there against the Commonwealth mid-heavyweight title holder, the great Gamma. And Gamma is 220 from Karachi, Pakistan. He's not used to being in an opening bout, but he's being ably assisted by not one, but two managers at ringside, the infamous Weasel and the equally infamous K.Y. Wakamatsu. We have just passed the 5-minute mark in this bout. It is slated for one fall, 20 minutes. Your third man in the ring, Jürgen Herman. And I'm also joined, besides Pete Montana from AM 106, I'm also joined at ringside by my good friend Ross Hart. And Ross, a lot of action on our card tonight.
Well, certainly, Jim, and before I get started, I'd just like to say it's a pleasure to join one of our most esteemed journalists, you, Jim Davies of the Calgary Sun, and the morning host from AM 106 Radio, who brings you all the hits, Pete Montana. And, of course, there has been a lot of action in this one. Kim Shaw, one of the most improved grapplers of the circuit, has given an excellent account of himself against the great Gamma.
Well, both these men working hard in the ring, and the great Gamma is making it known to Kim Shaw that he doesn't want him to last very long in this bout. What do you think of the action thus far, Pete?
Oh, it's been great, Jim. You know, Great Gamma's a great wrestler, really. We got to give him a lot of credit, but Kim's really an up-and-coming young man. He's doing a heck of a job, but I think he's got his hands full in there today.
I'm a little concerned with you, Pete. You got that little fedora from Jonathan B.G. Holiday, and I just have to warn you, the man is a bit strange. I don't know if you should be hanging around with the likes of B.G. Holiday.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the things about today was I was working with you, and kind of in honor of that, I wanted to wear a hat, a little fedora to kind of get along with it, and strangely enough, Dr. B.G. Jonathan Holiday was right there with the hat to help me out. So I will check it out, and I'll get to talk to him a little bit later on, and I'll get a real good first-hand impression of him at that time.
You'll get one heck of a dandy first impression, I'm sure. You'll never want to see him again. Kim Shaw comes off the ropes, but he catches that big elbow from the great Gamma. Gamma not pleased to be in an opening bout, Ross Hart.
Well, certainly not. And he's taking his wrath out on Kim Shaw, Gamma, the Commonwealth mid-heavyweight champion. But he's got some tough challenges to face, including one from Bruce Hart. They're scheduled for a title match, I understand, next week, Jim.
That's true. Bruce Hart, coming back off an injury, a many-time Commonwealth mid-heavyweight title holder himself. And he would dearly like to take that belt off the waist of the great Gamma. Meanwhile, it's Shaw off the ropes. Oh, a big neck breaker, and Gamma goes down, clutching his head. A good move by Kim Shaw.
Boy, I'll tell you, that's that young, talented experience we're talking about. He's learning real quick, and he's learning from everybody he's wrestling, including the great Gamma. And right now, he's showing great Gamma that, yeah, he's got some stuff, and he better watch out. Don't take this match for granted.
That's exactly right. Gamma can't take anything for granted. It's a 2 count. Gamma in trouble. His belt, of course, is not on the line in this bout. It is a non-title affair.
What a power slam that was there, Jim.
A great power slam. You are right, Ross Hart. And I'll tell you, Kim Shaw coming on like gangbusters. There's a suplex. He bridges. 1, 2. But Gamma, the wily old veteran that he is, got out of it. Shaw slams him down to the canvas again. He's going up top. Rosshart called the action.
Well, he's coming off the top here. It appears he's going for a splash or a headbutt, and it was a costly mistake because Gamma sensed it and moved out of the way at the last moment, and quite a collision for Kim Shaw on the mat there. A mistake there, obviously, of inexperience.
Kim Shaw pays the price for taking a little too long up there. Gets fired off the ropes. There's the Cobra hold. There is the Cobra hold. It is Gamma's version of the sleeper. Cuts off the flow of blood and oxygen to the brain, puts his opponent out. It is a deadly hold.
Unless Kim Shaw can get anywhere close to the ropes, there's no escape for him.
You wouldn't like to be in a sleeper, would you, Pete Montana?
No, not with someone like the Great Gamma. Maybe a person that of my choice, you know, but not someone like the Great Gamma. I'll tell you, Kim put up a good fight there, but it looks like it's all over for him.
I thought you would have told me a sleeper would be listening to some of the other radio stations in the city, but I'll tell you, that Cobra hold worked. It was a total submission. Unbelievable, unbelievable. Gamma's still applying the pressure.
Gamma's not releasing the hold, and of course Wizal is distracting the referee, and Gamma's being given instructions by KY Wakamatsu to keep the hold on, and that could cause serious brain damage to Kim Shaw.
We're here with the Great Gamma and his henchman, the Weasel, and KY Wakamatsu. Before we even talk to you, Gamma, I want to say that was totally sadistic. The three of you all ganged up on Kim Shaw after you had that sleeper hold, that Cobra hold on him. It was disgusting, absolutely disgusting, and I thank heavens that Bruce Hart was able to come in and get you guys away from Kim Shaw. Bruce Hart saved the day as far as Kim Shaw was concerned. And Gamma, I got to ask you right now, what is with that sadism and that cowardice of 3-on-1?
There is no 3-on-1, Jim Davies. You obviously didn't have your glasses on tonight. I beat that man with a Cobra hold, fair and square inside the middle of this ring. And actually, I was in the middle of waking that man up. Everybody knows how dangerous a Cobra hold really is. If a man is out too long, he could have suffered serious brain damage. And obviously, I was taking my time trying to wake the guy up. I wanted to make sure he was woken up correctly.
You were putting the pressure on him.
No good yellow belly Bruce Hart stuck his nose, came inside this ring when my back was turned. That is the only way Bruce Hart can ever come inside this ring and face me is when my back is turned. He went crying to his father too hard, so he wanted a championship match against the Great Gamma. He never worked his way up to the top. He never even wasn't even inside this ring for the past 3 months. How can he be rated as a #1 contender?
Because he's a former... Hey, come on. He's a many-time Commonwealth mid-heavyweight title holder.
He doesn't deserve a title shot. He should have to work his way up to the top like the rest of them. Bruce Hart, if you, next week, you know that if the contract's already been signed, you got me next one-on-one next week
for the title
shot. I was pressured into it by, like the champion that I am. I gave him the title shot. But Bruce Hart, if you so much as even dream of beating me for that title, you better wake up and apologize, boy. Because that belt is mine. It's going to stay around my waist because when that battle royal comes up later on tonight for the $5,000, I'm going to finish you up then. There may not be a match next week between you and me.
Okay, and you got something to say for yourself, Weasel?
Yes, Bruce Hart, he come with the tell Gamma, he's nothing. Gamma beat him 1, 2, 3.
KY Wakamatsu?
Bruce Hart! Kore! Hey! 必ずてめえを倒してやるぐらいしてば首洗って待っておれこれ
All right, enough of that. Let us go to ringside with Pete Montana and Dr. Jonathan B.G. Holiday.
Joining me now is the one and only and a wrestler who's kind of been tearing things up around here lately. Someone we're very proud to have with us, the one and only Dr. B.G. Holiday, and along with him, Miss Honey, of course.
Well, you know, I'm a little bit disappointed now. You know, I was calling the radio station, AM 106, all day today. They told me that you had the #1 listenership in the country of Canada. And I don't understand it because I listened all day. I did not hear one BG song. I did not hear one Village People song. Now, you tell me, why is that?
Well, I really don't know. The thing is, we're a kind of a hip radio station.
Let me ask you a question. Did John Travolta feature Guns N' Roses when he put out Saturday Night Live? I don't think so.
No.
He did not. Well, let's not talk about music, my man. Let's talk about wrestling and my undefeated streak and how great I am and how great she looks. Look at the women I attract because I'm in style. I've beaten everybody from head to toe, and tonight I've gotten even braver. I've taken on a man that's got to be the greatest wrestler that's come out of Alberta ever. Ken Johnson. I'm giving you a chance at greatness tonight, Ken Johnson. The greatest wrestler. He's been a champion everywhere he's been. And I'm going to show him what it's all about when I beat him tonight. And later on after that, in the bunkhouse battle royal, you know, Bruce Hart, Davey Boy Smith, Owen Hart, they've all been running from me, and I'm sick and tired of chasing them. I'm sick and tired of running after everybody. They're running from me. They're kicking. Well, don't run, because tonight, when it's all said and done, Mr. TV announcer, I'm going to be very rich. And you know something? Larry Cameron and myself and this lovely gem, we're going to strut down to Electric Avenue tonight, and we're going to hang some disco balls all over the town. And you can tell the people love me here. Now, you know the pleasure has been all yours, my friend. Give the man a kiss, will you?
Can you imagine this? Can you imagine? You know, I had the man's hat on tonight. I thought he was a nice guy, but the hat's got to go. This is his hat. It's got to go. We don't need the hat. No. We'll be right back with more wrestling action right after this.
We are just underway in our second bout of the evening. This bout pits a very young man with limited experience, but a game competitor and a great amateur wrestler, Steve Gillespie. He weighs in at 215 out of Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and he's in there against a rough and tough competitor. One half of the tag team that everybody is talking about, Maximum Overdrive. This is Warrior. He weighs in at 253 from Detroit, Michigan. The referee, Wayne Hart. One fall, 20 minutes. We are just underway in this bout. And Ross Hart, you would have to say the Warrior must be favored.
Well, he certainly is. He's more experienced and a far more rugged competitor. Not scientific, but then again, not a notorious rule breaker like some. Steve Gillespie giving an indication of his amateur background there with some nice tosses. And at the moment, he's enjoying the upper hand, which is surprising.
It is surprising, and I'm sure nobody's more surprised than the Warrior, but he is a tough hombre. And Pete Montana, you looked a little nervous up in the ring when you couldn't quite find the Warrior who was standing behind you.
Well, I got to tell you, I was shaking a little bit up there, Jim. I didn't know where he went, and heck, you just look at this guy. He's not the kind of guy you want to meet in a lit alley in the middle of the day, let alone a dark one. He scared the heck out of me. I wasn't quite sure where he was. So yeah, I was a little worried.
He is a scary competitor, is Warrior from Maximum Overdrive, but Steve Gillespie, surprisingly to some, certainly to many of the fans, is more than holding his own. A very well-schooled amateur wrestler with several amateur titles. Sitting up on the mantelpiece is Steve Gillespie, but he does have some learning to do, and the pro ranks are very, very tough.
Oh, we see him doing some excellent amateur moves there. That was a rollover cradle pin that earned him a 2 count. He's giving away about 40 pounds in weight to the Warrior, which will be a big disadvantage of him. And the Warrior ends up on top there for a pin, only for a 2 count.
You can see the size advantage of the Warrior. He picks him up, power slams him to the canvas. 2, and he is toying with him. He is toying with him. Some of these men, Pete Montana, are very, very sadistic.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Warrior missed on the first time he tried that toss, and he got real mad. I don't know if he was mad at Gillespie or himself. He tried it a second time, and boy, he's hurting him up there.
Steve Gillespie, he has been in there against some very tough opponents in recent weeks. He was in there against lethal Larry Cameron, and that's a tough assignment for even the most experienced wrestler. Gillespie said he learned a lot from that experience, and he's going to be tougher. Oh, look at that. He got out of the way of the Warrior, who went flying into the turnbuckle. Gillespie using his speed to his advantage.
Well, the Warrior obviously mistimed that move, and now Steve Gillespie gained the upper hand again, going for a body slam. And Steve Gillespie shows a lot of potential. I think when he puts on some size and gains some experience, he could definitely be one of tomorrow's stars. But he's about to take quite a dive there. He flew about 10 feet through the air.
That's the amazing strength of Warrior of Maximum Overdrive. He just fired young Steve Gillespie across the ring. Gillespie wondering, where's the license plate of that truck that just hit me? There's that big suplex. Warrior in control, a 2 count, and Gillespie just manages to escape a pin. Pete Montana, the Warrior, coming on like gangbusters.
I'll tell you what, it's that inexperience again. It's the second time tonight we've seen that. Gillespie tried to go up off the top rope. Warrior just took him and threw him across the ring, and that had to hurt. And I'll tell you, Steve Gillespie's talented, but when you're in there against experience and strength like a guy like the Warrior, you're in for some trouble, and you gotta stay on your toes all the time.
Gillespie making a very smart comeback. Warrior, I think, has got to be a bit surprised. Those forearm smashes, yeah, right into the face.
Quite a judo slash right across the chest. Good hip toss.
Gillespie working his man over as referee Wayne Hart looks on. And we have just passed the 5-minute mark. Our timekeeper, Billy Hunt, makes us aware. This is, of course, a one-fall, 20-minute affair, pitting Steve Gillespie against the Warrior. Little mix-up there, and Gillespie hits the canvas hard.
Gillespie was obviously trying for a roll-up pin there. Warrior wisely hung on to the ropes, and Gillespie took the fall right on the back of his head.
You are watching Steve Gillespie, a young man out of Calgary, Alberta, weighing in at 215 against the Warrior of Maximum Overdrive, 253 from Detroit, and it is all over. Big 3 count for the Warrior, and that has to be absolutely no surprise.
I'll tell you what, Warrior got in some trouble there a little earlier on in the match, but that experience, once again, Steve Gillespie just wasn't ready. He made a nice comeback in there and really shows, Steve Gillespie, you've got a lot of experience. You're a great amateur wrestler, but boy, you're in the pro ranks now, and you better be ready.
We are just past the 5-minute mark in this 20-minute time limit bout. It is Doctor of Disco, B.G. Holiday, against Kenny Johnson, the 215-pounder out of Lethbridge, the referee, David Putnam, and Holiday's manager, or decorative plaything, or whatever the heck she is, the lovely Miss Honey at ringside. Big sunset flip, 1, 2, just a 2 count. Good maneuver by Kenny Johnson.
I'll tell you what, he is a young and up-and-coming wrestler. It's good to see these guys coming into the Stampede wrestling ring and doing the kind of things they're doing, showing people like Dr. B.G. Holiday that, hey, there's going to be some up-and-coming guys to reckon with. And as far as the B.G. title goes with Mr. Holiday, you know, they've got a new hit out to B.G.'s. They've got a contemporary song that they're playing, and even they say disco's dead, and they're not involved in it, so he better catch up with the times.
Well, he's got to also catch up with Kenny Johnson, and he does. He pounds him down to the canvas. Johnson was applying that sleeper hold, but Holiday escapes. 2 count, just a 2 count, but Holiday in charge.
Actually, one of the few wrestling moves Holiday has shown with any skill. He countered Johnson's sleeper hold attempt with the side body drop and managed to escape the sleeper. So Holiday will be given some credit for a few wrestling skills. Few and far between, though.
Very few and far between, Ross Hart. You are right there. Look at him talking to the crowd. It's a suplex attempt. It does not work. It doesn't work again. And there it is, a suplex by Kenny Johnson. Holiday out to lunch.
I'll tell you, it's a perfect example of what we talked about earlier, Jim Davies, and that's the fact that Kenny Johnson's in shape. He's a young, strong bull from southern Alberta, and old Doc B.G. Holiday's got his work cut out for him. There's a perfect example. He could not make that maneuver. There was no way, and Ken Johnson returned the favor right away. He's got to watch out. This is a tough kid here.
Well, I must remind all of Ed Whalen's fans that he will be back in 1 week's time. He's just undergoing some routine work in the hospital, and he'll bounce back sound as a dollar. And we'll be glad to have him back. Bulldog Bob Brown, meanwhile, is indefinitely suspended for attacking referee Wayne Hart, and that suspension is richly deserved. It's a pleasure to be here at ringside with our special guest, Pete Montana, and a very knowledgeable wrestling man, Ross Hart. And Ross, you must be a little surprised that Dr. Holliday, who now has 2 yellow cards, look at this. He's going after the referee.
With referee Dave Putnam. Putnam didn't back off. And it appears that Holliday's spending way too much time arguing with the referee and jawing with the crowd. And it's cost him 2 or 3 precious moments in this match. And now Kenny Johnson may have the momentum to win this match. Holliday has been distracted so many times and concentrated on jawing with the crowd and the referee, and it may cost him this match.
Kenny Johnson is just going wild in there, flinging Holliday around. Drives him into the corner. Whoa, the big monkey flip, and I'll tell you, Holliday is on Strange Street. He's begging for mercy, and he will get none from Kenny Johnson. Johnson manhandling him, fires him into the corner again. Oh, atomic drop. And Kenny Johnson pays the price for trying to play a little bit to the crowd.
You know, there we go again. We talked about it all night long, Jim Davies. Just one moment hesitation, a little bit of inexperience, and a wrestler like Dr. B.G. Holliday takes advantage of it. I'll tell you what, though, whatever happens with Dr. Holliday tonight, Miss Honey's going to have to help him out. He's on the top rope. Kenny Johnson, look out. Here he comes.
Oh. This could be it. 1, 2, 3. It is all over. Your winner, and a very unpopular one at that, Dr. B.G. Holliday. Well, a victorious Dr. Jonathan B.G. Holliday with Miss Honey and another character wearing a bandana in the background. B.G., you got to be the most unpopular wrestler in this territory, and I'll tell you, disco is dead.
Hey, baby, you said it all. The people love me. They watched me. I took them on to victory. I'm from the city of champions, and I'll tell you, I went out, I did my thing in record time. He was great, but he was out and I'm a bad man. The thing that's making me really mad is we have a bunkhouse battle royal tonight, and my man Skull Mason from Atlantic City, New Jersey, who's the big finger man on the boardwalk out there, they're saying, well, he can't compete because he didn't get his money in time. That's discrimination against Skull. Owen Hart, Davey Boy Smith, Bruce Hart, and a whole bunch of you, you're running from the man. He's the most capable out of everybody of winning this damn thing. And without him, it's going to be hard for me to win, but I'm still going to win. I talked to Mulroney today. He's doing what he can do. The people are behind me 1,000%. I got to thank
The people are behind you 1,000%? Are you living in the fantasy land?
First to shake your hand. You're a fantastic commentator, Jim Davies.
I'll have to count my fingers after this.
Jim, did they run out of paper in the washroom or something? Jesus. Guys, we got to go.
Miss Honey, you're in bad company. What are you doing hanging around with this guy?
Where the fun's at.
Where the fun is at, indeed. Let's go to ringside with Pete Montana.
Joining me now, the one and only, Lethal One, Lethal Larry Cameron. And you know, I gotta say, first of all, obviously you're looking forward to that big 15-man bunkhouse brawl, because $5,000 is an awful lot of money. But you gotta be worried. You gotta be thinking in the back of your mind, Davey Boy Smith is back.
Well, that's right, Mr. Montana. But first of all, never let it be said that Lethal Larry Cameron don't give credit where credit is due. And I want to congratulate you on the marvelous job you did last year in conducting your team to the Super Bowl. But personally, I always thought Joe Montana had a little bit more hair than this. But nevertheless, that's not important. The thing that we're going to talk about is this bunkhouse boy. That's right, wrestler coming from everywhere, crawling about the woodwork. Even David Boy Smith decided to crawl about his hole. And I wonder why in the hell is Owen Hart? Maybe he's staying in that same hole. But I tell you what, David Boy Smith, if you want to climb into the ring of darkness with the Lethal One, don't be looking for the guiding light, because all you're going to find is more darkness. And there's another thing. After I win this battle royal tonight, with that $5,000, I'm going to be one of the wealthiest men in Calgary at the expense of the taxpayers of the Canadian people. And there's another thing. Ever since Larry Lethal was voted the sexiest man in professional wrestling, there's been people everywhere hanging on to my coattail. Little kids, women, old people, even you, Mr. Montana. But let me tell you something. You also got geeks like Holloway, wanting to be part of the Lethal One. But Lethal One got here by himself I don't need clowns like you hanging around me trying to build your image up off me.
Now you haven't talked about Davey Boy Smith. You're not worried about this guy. He's long rest. He's come back off an injury. He's looking for you.
Well, let me tell you something, Mr. Montana. Last week, I put away 2 guys here within 5 minutes. 2 guys undefeated, the maximum overdrive. And if by now you don't know that Lethal Larry is the greatest athlete that ever came through this country, then you better shave the rest of your head. And let me tell you something else. I know you 106. 106 happens to be my favorite station. It's the Lethal one going to listen to one. But I tell you something, Mr. Montana. I want you to show me the same respect Mr. Ed do. I'm going to take you to the ring and make a example out of you in front of all these people.
Woo! You heard it here, the Lethal One, Lethal Larry Cameron. Not only does he go after everybody else, he's threatening me. Well, I got a big stick. I'll handle that one a little later. Sure I will. Me and an army, maybe. All right.
And Bruce Hart, making a return to the ring from injury, wasn't going to put up with Goldie Rogers' delaying tactics. He went out right away when after Goldie Rogers said, "You want to take a long time to change into your wrestling togs? To heck with you, buddy." So it is Bruce Hart, 213 out of Calgary, and he's in there against Goldie Rogers, the 223-pounder, Hollywood, California. We are just underway. This bout 1 fall, 20 minutes. The referee, Jurgen Herman, and Goldie Rogers has K.Y. Wakamatsu and the Weasel at ringside. Bruce Hart has to keep an eye out for those two.
Certainly he does. Bruce didn't even allow Goldie Rogers to go through his traditional pre-bout undressing ceremony where it takes him 5 minutes to take his glasses off and remove his jacket. Bruce went right after him before the bell with a vengeance, and obviously Weasel is worried, and K.Y. Wakamatsu is concerned as well.
Well, that was an amazing ovation that we heard for Bruce Hart when Pete Montana made the introduction in the ring. Pete, you looked a bit taken aback when the crowd was on their feet screaming and shouting that they were so happy to see Bruce Hart back.
You know, I know that Bruce Hart and all the Harts are very, very much loved in Calgary, but I was very surprised, and these people never cease to amaze me, coming up with a great ovation. And let's face it, Bruce needed it. Coming back off an injury, really had to have that ovation, and boy, it showed. I mean, he is hungry.
He is hungry, and at ringside, Gamma has a hold of the house mic, and he's taunting Bruce Hart.
Gamma has no business being at ringside. He's not a manager, and this isn't his match. And obviously, his presence has distracted Bruce. It's allowed Goldie Rogers finally to gain the upper hand. But Gamma has absolutely no business being around here.
You are right there. Gamma seems to want to get into the action with Bruce Hart. Goldie Rogers should be disqualified because Gamma has no right to be there. Obviously, he is concerned about the bout next week with his title on the line against Bruce Hart. And the fans are screaming, "We want a ref."
You know, I'll tell you, Bruce Hart gets distracted for just a moment. It's so easy to do when Gamma's ringside because all Bruce Hart has in his mind is he wants the great Gamma. Gets distracted for a minute, and now it's 2-on-1, and really, what chance does he have?
Well, Gamma was choking Bruce Hart. He had his T-shirt around the neck of Bruce, and Bruce is badly shaken up. Goldie Rogers now laying the lumber on.
Well, it certainly turned the tide of this battle. Bruce has his hands full, not only with his opponent Goldie Rogers, but 2 managers, Weasel and Wakamatsu, and the great Gamma, who's interfered in the bout twice already. And it's quite obvious that Gamma is trying to scare or possibly injure Bruce Hart before their upcoming title match next week for Gamma's Commonwealth Championship.
Gamma, as you have heard, has no right being at ringside. Look at this. He drives an elbow into the throat area of Bruce Hart, and the referee, Jurgen Herman, is distracted on the other side of the ring by Goldie Rogers.
I'll tell you what, not only is the great Gamma after Bruce Hart, but he's over here yapping at Ross, for heaven's sakes. I mean, the guy just never quits. Poor Bruce is really, I mean, the thing he's got to worry about is the match with great Gamma. Now he's stuck in a situation where he really could use some help, but I'll tell you, never count a Hart out.
Bruce Hart has a lot of courage. He is getting worked over by Goldie Rogers after Bruce was weakened by the great Gamma, who has no business. Look at this. It's a turnaround, and Goldie Rogers goes into the corner. A big clothesline. Bruce Hart beginning to show what he's made of.
Well, Bruce amazingly has made a comeback, and it looks like he's going for his patented clothesline. One of the best in wrestling today, and he scored a 3 count with it.
The flying clothesline. It works. The flying clothesline winds up. Bruce Hart wins the bout despite all odds, despite Gamma, despite Wakamatsu, despite the Weasel. Bruce Hart, what a comeback. Let's go to Bruce Hart in the ring right now. He's with Pete Montana.
Joining me, Bruce Hart, and Bruce, congratulations on coming back. Obviously, the fans love you. It's great to have you here, but indication through that match, Great Gamma is worried about you going after his belt.
He better. Every time I come in the ring, it seems like I got to look behind me. There's the Great Gamma. Next week, it's going to be face-to-face. If there's anything left of that clown after tonight's bunkhouse brawl, I'm going to take that belt away from Gamma next week. Just one other thing before I leave here. I'd just like to, on behalf of all the wrestling fans everywhere, wish all the best to Ed Wellen. He's in the hospital. He's had a serious operation. On behalf of myself, my brothers, and all the wrestling fans out there, get well quick, Ed, and like to see you back.
All right, thanks a lot, Bruce, and good luck. All right, you betcha. Bruce Hart, ladies and gentlemen, we're going back to Jim Davies.
Well, let us feast the old peepers on 2 of the best mid-heavyweights in all of professional wrestling. You are looking at the one, the only, Chris Benoit, 223 out of Edmonton, Alberta, and he's in there against Sumo Hara, 223 as well, Sapporo, Japan. We have just passed the 5-minute mark in this bout. It has been all action. It's about slated for 20 minutes, and the referee, Wayne Hart. Great flying feet by that karate master, Sumo Hara, and it's interesting, Sumo Hara, of course, one half of the Samurai Warriors, the international tag team champions, and Chris Benoit, along with Biff Wellington, represent the Youngbloods. They are ranked number 2. They have been champions, and they want those belts around their waist again. Benoit getting the worst of it right now from Sumo Hara. A great bout thus far, Ross Hart.
Well, it certainly has been, Jim, and it's nice to see such an excellent scientific encounter, and both men have displayed some brilliant moves and counters. Neither one has gained an advantage for long, and it's nice to watch such a hard-fought bout that's unlike some of the other brawls and slugfests we've seen.
Indeed it is. This is scientific wrestling at its finest. Pete Montana, these 2 young men have to impress you.
I'll tell you, certainly by far the most technical match we've seen tonight. These 2 guys really, really know what they're doing, and they're going at it very, very hard. They're not holding back. They're not worrying about anything else going on tonight. What they're worried about is what's going on in the ring right now, and they are treating the fans to one terrific little match.
The fans are loving it. Benoit is ranked number 1 in the Commonwealth mid-heavyweight division. Sumo Hara ranked number 2, and you look a little further down the list, Sumo Hara's Samurai Warrior partner, Benkei Sasaki, ranked number 3, and Chris Benoit's Youngbloods partner, Biff Wellington, ranked 4. These are super young mid-heavyweights, and they are very, very talented. The fans are enjoying it.
Seen a lot of the karate and kickboxing skills of Sumo Hara come into play, and the high-flying acrobatics of Chris Benoit as well.
Here we go, up the ropes. A clothesline misses. Benoit with a cross-body block. 1, 2, just a 2 count. Referee Wayne Hart counted to 2, but 3 was not in the cards.
I'll tell you what, we're talking about experienced wrestlers too, and Chris Benoit, though he was down, certainly wasn't out. He knows what he's doing. Having a little trouble right now, mind you, but when he's in a troubled situation, don't count him out, because he knows where he's going and how to get out of it.
This bout certainly has been hard fought, but also it's been grueling and punishing. Both men have delivered tremendous blows to each other.
We're watching Chris Benoit from Edmonton, Alberta, in there against Sumo Hara from Sapporo, Japan. Both men weigh in at exactly the same. They tipped the Toledos at 223. Referee is Wayne Hart, and we are approaching the 10-minute mark It has been non-stop action in this bout, one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Wayne Hart must really appreciate refereeing a bout like this because it is clean, scientific wrestling. There is no foul play involved, and you can hear the crowd shouting, "Go, Chris, go!" Chris Benoit, a very popular wrestler in this territory, Pete, Montana.
You know, and the funny thing is, everything else that comes from Edmonton isn't liked very much here in Calgary, but Chris Benoit, a great, great ambassador for the city of Edmonton, and I'll tell you what, I think the city of Calgary and the fans here have really adopted him as their own. Just a terrific young man.
He is that. Sumahara in control once again. The momentum in this bout has switched back and forth. Neither man, as Ross Hart told you earlier, holding the upper hand for very long. We have just passed the 10-minute mark. If you were to score this bout, it would be a dead heat. But Sumahara is coming on, Ross.
He is at the moment. Certainly both are very evenly matched in weight and in experience. I suppose in every aspect of wrestling. Perhaps Chris Benoit has an advantage in strength, but I think in speed, perhaps the advantage goes to Sumahara.
Sumahara giving him those vicious chops in the corner. Benoit turns him around, fires him into the turnbuckle, and the big clothesline.
They are working hard. They were here in the corner a second ago. We were catching a lot of sweat. I mean, these guys aren't up there having a tea party. They're working their little butts off, and I'll tell you, it's exciting for the fans. I'm enjoying this. This is great wrestling.
Well, it's a little different than spinning those rock and roll records at AM 106, but Pete Montana loving what he's watching, and who can blame him? Two great wrestling stars in the ring, Sumahara and Chris Benoit. Benoit now taking command. Fires Sumahara down onto the canvas. Benoit comes down with that big leg drop across the face and throat area. He's going for the pin. Just a 2 count.
This match, it could go either way, Jim, and the mistake of one could be the undoing that leads to a victory by the other.
Off the top rope. Oh, Benoit took too long, and he landed with his midsection right on the knees of Sumahara. Benoit is shaken up.
Boy, that has got to hurt. I'm surprised we didn't see Chris's dinner come up. Oh, and in the face.
A great flying drop kick by Sumahara. He's known for his flying feet. Here's the big suplex. Sumahara wants to put Benoit away. 2, just a 2 count.
Very close to a 3 count, and Sumahara has Chris Benoit in serious trouble. He's going all out for the victory. Oh, he missed that kick, though. What a beautiful move there. A crucifix by Chris Benoit. Has he got him? Yes, he does.
He does. He does. A great move. A great move by Chris Benoit. Sumahara didn't know what hit him. Pete Montana, you look flabbergasted.
I'll tell you what, I'd like to learn that on a date. That'd be a fantastic move. Incredible. Chris Benoit, what a guy.
A great move, and it goes into the books as a victory for Chris Benoit. Let's see what he has to say. Well, we just witnessed a fantastic bout between Chris Benoit and Sumahara, a bout that actually ended with the two men shaking hands in the middle of the ring. You don't see that very often, and the fans gave a hearty applause when they saw it. Chris is standing by with Biff Wellington. Together, they're the Youngbloods, and they're facing separate members of the International Tag Team Champs, the Samurai Warriors, on our card. I wonder if a title match is in the offing, but first, Chris, I have to ask you about that bout with Sumahara. He's a great gentleman and a great athlete.
Sumahara is one of the greatest junior heavyweights I've ever faced. It was a very important victory for me tonight. He's ranked in the top 10 in the world. I felt really good with the victory. I felt strong there tonight. However, the Samurai Warriors hold the tag team belts in Western Canada right now. I'd like to get back together with my partner, Biff Wellington. We've held the belts before. I'd like to have one more shot at them against the Samurai Warriors.
Biff Wellington, you had those belts before. They were taken away from you in a very controversial manner by Kerry Brown and Bulldog Brown. A lot of people think you still deserve to be the tag team champs, you two.
Well, I can't take nothing away from the Samurai Warriors, Jim. One of the toughest teams around. Probably well deserving of the belts right now, but like Chris said, I'm looking forward to teaming up with Chris again. Two of us can maybe go after those belts again.
Well, I know the fans will be looking forward to it. Two real ring gentlemen, Biff Wellington and Chris Benoit. We'll be right back with more wrestling action right after this. Three out of Lloydminster, Alberta, against Benkei Sasaki, 231, Sapporo, Japan. This bout, one fall, 20 minutes. We are just past the 5-minute mark. Referee David Putnam. It has been a wild and woolly affair. Neither man having the upper hand for very long. Both men very competent, skilled wrestlers, and you can see Benkei Sasaki has a lot of strength in that mid-heavyweight body.
You know, you're talking about the rankings, Sasaki number 3 and Biff Wellington number 4, and it shows it's been a very even match, much like the last match we saw. And once again, two very technical, very experienced wrestlers, and boy, I'll tell you, we're in for another treat.
It will be a treat. Ross Hart, I know that you're interested in this bout and also interested in the bout which will follow, the 15-man bunkhouse brawl. $5,000 to the winner. Elimination by pinfall, submission, knockout, countout, or being thrown over the top rope. It is a wild match. One of the matches that the fans just go crazy over.
Certainly, it's perhaps wrestling's most exciting match today, the bunkhouse brawl, being eliminated in so many different ways. It's also a very dangerous match with 15 wrestlers in there. Anything can happen. The expected favorites to win include Davey Boy Smith, who's making his return after recovering from a serious auto accident. It's just great to see him back. Also, Lethal Larry Cameron, who's been undefeated in singles matches for 7 months now, also is expected to win. So it'll be interesting to see those two clash in the bunkhouse brawl. Plus, there'll be 13 others in there. It could be anybody's victory.
And don't forget, $5,000 goes to the winner, and you can tell every single one of the wrestlers very excited about the prospect of stashing away that $5 grand into their bank account.
Are we going to be safe here at this table? Are we safe here? Is this okay?
Probably not.
That's what I thought. I don't know. I'm not too sure about this, Jim.
Pete Montana, a little nervous. As Ross Hart says, bodies could be flying everywhere. Right now, the body that's doing the flying is Benkei Sasaki off the ropes. Turnaround sunset flip, and oh, a great maneuver. And now Wellington turning the tables. These men are fast.
Yes, they are. We're seeing another contest of speed and agility, just like we saw with Chris Benoit against Sumo Hara. Benoit scoring a very close one in that one. It'll be interesting to see who comes out on top in this one.
Right now, it's Biff Wellington pouring the pressure on with a headlock on Benkei Sasaki. Referee David Putnam looking on. You are watching Benkei Sasaki, 231, Sapporo, Japan. He is one half of the International Tag Team Champions, the Samurai Warriors, and he's in there against Biff Wellington, the very popular grappler from Lloydminster, Alberta, who tips the Toledos at 223, referee David Putnam, and it has been non-stop action as we are approaching the 10-minute mark in this bout that is slated for one fall with a 20-minute time limit. A lot of scientific maneuvering going on inside that ring, Pete Montana.
I'll tell you what, it looks terrific, and something that helps is when you have a referee like David Putnam in there doing the job he's doing, a terrific official who's right there on top of things, young, experienced though young, and doing a great job. It just makes it better for everybody, and like you say, it's got to be a joy for him to do a match like this.
Well, I think it is. This young referee, David Putnam, is the favorite of Bulldog Bob Brown, who, in case you missed it, has been indefinitely suspended for an attack on referee Wayne Hart. And while we're mentioning people who are not sitting at our ringside table, as per usual, I should mention Ed Whalen is in hospital. It's a relatively minor thing, he tells me, and we wish Ed all the best and hope to see him back returning to ringside in 1 week's time. Ross Hart?
Well, it'll be great to see Ed back. A minor operation he's undergoing, and we'll look forward to seeing him. It's certainly not the same without him.
And it's not the same without Bulldog Bob Brown, and we're all happy about that. Benkei Sasaki working over the left arm of Biff Wellington, and the crowd is a little uneasy. They're good fans of Biff Wellington. He's a very popular wrestler. they don't like to see him on the short end of things. Wellington attempting to break out of this hold. Pure strength. He puts his foot up on the rope, and David Putnam tells Sasaki, you must break the hold.
It's been understandable that Benoit and Wellington have received the majority of crowd support, as they are two Alberta favorites. As popular as Sasaki and Sumo Hara are, I don't think they have the traditional following that Benoit and Wellington have.
But all four are magnificent wrestlers, all of them pretty much in the mid-heavyweight division. There's that big suplex by Wellington. The referee just noticed at the last moment that Sasaki got his foot up on the rope to stop the count.
Well, you know, these guys, they're working real hard. They're getting a little tired. They use a smart move by getting that foot up on the rope. But this time, looks like Biff could happen. Now, gets him in the center of the ring. That's experience. Take him away from the ropes this time. Make sure that he can't get away with that tactic, but he managed to jump out of that.
That was the umpteenth 2 count for both of these wrestlers. Both have come very close to a pin, but you're going to have to do something special to put one of these men away. There's a flying drop kick. Wellington didn't quite have the timing on it, but he's going for the pin, and again, just a 2 count.
Several close calls, and once again, a mistake could be costly for either one if the other is able to capitalize on it. The action between both of these two have been so extraordinary, as well as in the other contest between Chris Benoit and Sumo Hara. I would really like to see the 4 of them in a tag team match.
Well, you can bet the fans would love to see that one too, Ross Hart. Right now, it's...
They're former tag team champions, and they're currently ranked number 2 in the ratings, so I think the outcome of the 2 matches could produce a logical tag team match next week.
Okay, it's Sasaki. He's got Wellington up on the ropes, but Wellington used a headbutt, got out of it. Sasaki shaken up. Wellington coming off the top, cross body block. Oh, he got turned around. That's a 3 count for Sasaki. Sasaki wins the bout, an incredible bout.
I'll tell you what, Biff Wellington looked like he had something happening there, but an experienced wrestler like Sasaki turned the tide a little bit, and the next thing you know, the bout's over. These guys are great wrestlers.
We are just underway in our 15-man bunkhouse brawl. $5,000 to the winner. Larry Cameron, Davey Boy Smith, Great Gamma, Chris Benoit, Biff Wellington, Dr. Zhivago, Bruce Hart, Sumo Hara, Benkei Sasaki, Warrior from Maximum Overdrive, Goldie Rogers, B.G. Holiday, Kim Shaw, Kenny Johnson, Steve Gillespie. They're all in the ring. I cannot believe that. Referee Jürgen Herman is declaring Holiday the winner.
After all these people, I won the Battle Royal. I pressed Jonathan all day. Above my head, Jim Davis. You saw it. Everyone in TV land saw it. And that's highway robbery.
It is absolute insanity.
Who's this other guy ringside? Some kind of biker with a shaved head.
That was Skull Mason. He had no business. Skull Mason. Mason.
Who is Skull Mason? Who have you ever beat? You beat nobody. You want a piece of me? Anybody wants a piece of me? Come and find me at the Calgary Pavilion every Friday night. I'm willing, able to do the damage. Skull Mason, whatever your name is, I've not forgot about you. But Jim Davis, the $5,000, I don't care. I don't care about the $5,000. It doesn't mean nothing to me. Money's not the matter right now. What the matter is right here, and it's called pride and heart. That's what I've got. That's what I trained out for after that automobile accident. And Dave Boy Smith come back
And I showed tonight I could win the Battle Royal. But his justice didn't go right again, Jim Davis. The referee didn't see it. And all these idiots here at ringside, they always end up the winners.
Joining me in the ring, the champion of tonight's 15-man bunkhouse brawl, along with many of his friends, the one and only Dr. B.G. Holiday.
What did I tell you guys? What did I say? The thrill of victory, the agony of defeat. One by one, I'm knocking them all off. The Young Bloods, Benoit, Wellington, history. The Samurai Warriors, history. And Davy Boy Smith, what a sweet thing it was when you got in my face. I picked you up and threw you over the top rope. I went toe-to-toe with everybody, knocked them out one by one. $5 grand. Hey, that's a day spent for me and my buddies. We're going to hang disco balls all over Electric Avenue when I get done.
What do you say about these guys? They're just in here having a good time. I don't know. You saw it. You called it.
If Davy Boy Smith and the rest of those losers can behave themselves, they can come to my party. But you better put on some nice clothes. Oh, yeah.
There you go. There you have it. The champion, Dr. B.G. Holiday, and all his friends, including... I can't talk. I'm afraid I'm just a little tongue-tied. I better go to Jim Davies.
Davy Boy Smith, Bruce Hart, unbelievable result in that bunkhouse brawl. Everybody knows that you won it. Everybody knows that you threw Holiday way over the top rope onto the concrete, and yet he had his hand raised in victory and was given $5,000.
Well, you know, Jim Davis, I went backstage and all the people are saying it's a shame you lost the Battle Royal. I didn't lose no Battle Royal, Jim Davis. All the people saw Jonathan Holiday get thrown over the top rope. He didn't hit the apron, he landed right on the concrete floor, and all these people seen it. But let me tell you something, Jonathan Holiday. You want to come out here and you want to bring guys with shaved heads. What's his name?
Skull Mason.
Skull Mason. Who is he? Who has he ever beat?
He's some bruiser from Atlantic City.
He's some bruiser from Atlantic City. Well, nobody knows him in Calgary. Nobody knows him in this city. I'll tell you what, and the way he's going, Jim Davis, not many people will know him for very long.
You want a piece of Skull Mason?
Well, I don't want a piece of him, but if he wants a piece of me, I'll be here next Friday night, and I'll have a piece of Skull Mason. And when I'm finished with him, I'm going to get you, Holiday. I'm going to snap that little chicken neck of yours. The best thing you can do, Holiday, is go and find yourself a good lawyer and sue your legs for non-support.
Okay. Bruce Hart, a travesty of justice.
Total rip-off highway robbery. I'm going to use the frustration built up with inside me, take it out next week on Gamma, because next week I'm walking out with that Commonwealth belt around my waist. I proved tonight I could destroy him. He ran all night. Next week, the running's going to stop, Gamma. I'm going to walk out with that belt around my waist. And Holiday, if there's anything left to you after me, Davey or Chris, get a hold of you. I want the last piece of you, you stinking rotten bum.
Nobody's a Jonathan Holiday fan, and you can't blame them. The man runs like a coward. He's awful.
Skull Mason, when I'm finished with you, that's if you have the guts to step in the ring with me, then you leave for Larry Cameron. You're next in line because you've got what's mine. That's that North American heavyweight belt. And I trained hard to come back after the accident, and I'm going to take it.
Two real gentlemen, Davy Boy Smith and Bruce Hart. It's been a wild night, and we promise you it'll be even wilder next week, particularly if this man can win the Commonwealth mid-heavyweight title.
Get on it, Jim.
Bruce Hart. We'll see you next week for another edition of Stampede Wrestling. Bye-bye now. You heard Davy Boy Smith say it was wild, and that's exactly what it was tonight. And I promise you, it'll be even wilder next week when we return with another edition of TSN Wrestling. Bye-bye now.